Hey guys, welcome to a quick little maybe guide or run through of this new dungeon. This is an insane mode. I've been winning the last few of this group. Pretty much just gonna be running through it, winning real quick, showing you guys how we are winning. Use it as a little guide if you want to. I'll be explaining things along the way. So when we start, well, before we start, using Revitalize, max spell stamina, Revitalize, and the Vengeful Taunt. Vengeful Taunt taunts all enemies near you, and you take an amount of damage. If you release it, then you release damage to the enemies proportionate to the amount of damage you took. So if you took like 40 billion damage, you could release up to 100 quadrillion damage. So pretty simple concept. You're going to be seeing how we use it here. And yeah, so back to you when we start. Yeah. Pretty much here, the strategy is to aggro the first and right group of mobs right off the bat. So I'm going to Revitalize in, grab these guys, and then circle around and get the ones to the right. There's nothing to really worry about in this part of the map. No really one-shots, unless you really take too long. So just kind of just walk in a circle and keep an eye on your health. Pretty simple. Just keep the enemies taunted so your DPS have an easy time. Then you're going to run over and taunt this group of mobs. Like I said, nothing to really worry about in this part of the map. Shouldn't be dying here. Leave it for later. And they should be able to get this in a relatively good time. 14 is about average. Drop down here, aggro the back mobs alongside the first. When you have the skitters as the taunt, you have to make sure that you use the skitters and activate them not on top of your DPS, or activate them when you can get away, because they one-shot you too. So just kind of keep an eye on where they at. They activate right around when they reach half health. So if you'd played enough like I have, you kind of just know by muscle memory when they're about to explode. So it's pretty easy just to time it for when you're able to get out or use your Revitalize. They're pretty forgiving with their explosion radius. Here you just kind of drop down, Revitalize in with the speed boost, and just taunt all these enemies. You got to be careful because this guy's the really big guy. He spawns in a giant red spinny circle, and that can drain you down 30 billion health if you're not careful. And of course, watch out for the purple or one-shots. Other than that, you can just kind of taunt these guys in a circle while your DPS stay on the outside and just do their thing and not have to worry as much about dodging. This boss you really don't have much to do in. Just make sure you're healing your teammates. You're not going to be getting much damage out. Like, so far I've already gotten 1.3 QI damage, which, you know, for being a healer is better than nothing. So it's pretty good. Like, for example, that's this whole boss's health bar already I've done total. Yeah. This spell is pretty good. Like, even without the damage, the taunt itself is really useful. But there's nothing much to do for this boss. You just kind of sit here. You can put out a little extra damage if you want, but it's not going to be much. It scales of like how much damage you receive at once, so this boss is not a very high damage boss, so you wouldn't be getting too much out. And of course, the moment I record, they actually start dying at this boss. Usually they clear of no deaths. We move on to the next 3 rooms before T. Or 4, technically. This room is really dangerous. You can get caught up. A lot of people die in this room. I like to just bank to the right. I just accidentally clicked instead of held down the spell. It's my bad. It'll be a moment before the skitters explode, but I like to take them and just run away from my DPS so they don't get caught up in the skitters explosion. I just got pulled into it, so that's a really bad example. That usually doesn't happen, but here and there you'll just get sucked into it and you can't really do anything about that. It happens and it sucks, but we'll still make good time. But yeah, like I said, just run around in a circle, just preferably away from your DPS so they don't have to worry about the skitters. The skitters being the little bugs that explode at half health and insta-kill anything inside. Yeah, that's the circle you have to watch out for, by the way. If you don't have a Revitalize up when that hits, then you might die. Down here, this is a really easy room. You just kind of run straight and circle around the skitters. Nice big room, so it's not as dangerous. And there's no one to grab and pull you in and kill you. So down here we have 4 skitters and a grabber. The grab dude also has the giant red circle attack, so there's only 5 enemies in this room that are really dangerous to us. But as long as we're careful, it'll be no problem at all. One skitter has already exploded. I know the rest are about to explode, so I'm going to lead them away. Pretty simple. We're on worse time this time around than the other matches I didn't record. But you know, in the moment you start recording, things get a little worse. We still should make good time. We made it to the last boss like with 7 minutes last game. It was pretty crazy. This one, I like to aggro all the mobs except for the tentacles in the back. Run in, grab them. Loop around because these skitters are going to explode and you don't want to get your teammates caught up. I just got grabbed by a dude into it, so again, bad example, but you know, when you record, everything unlucky happens to you. It just happens. But ideally, you don't want to get grabbed and pulled into the skitters because, well, you die. And you can't escape if you get grabbed like that. Time is a lot worse this game than usual. Okay, for this boss, I switch up. I don't use the cleansing beam. Sorry, my brain. It's 3 AM. I don't use the taunt because there's no really need on this boss. I use the cleansing beam because in a moment it takes away the anti-heal debuff. So if you time it really well with your teammates, you can get them to survive for an extra moment in the anti-heal blades. You'll see if I can pull it off here. It's a bit finicky. Sometimes you're gonna have to choose who you want to survive. Well, in that moment I didn't have my heal up, so they ended up dying, but it happens. This boss is really high skill ceiling, honestly. It's just a Crag version 2. Just gotta pray. Pray you get good attacks. If you didn't know, if you have that little orb above your head, then you can just walk through and not take any damage from the blades. Like I said, this run is going a lot worse than usual. We were up like a few minutes last game from here. But it's fine. I keep on forced to use heal throughout this because I have to heal a little early. But they both made it to the edge this time around, so pretty good. Well, he just died of that, but it's fine. Cutting it close this time around. T is just one of those bosses where if you're in a group like this, Sometimes you do really good, or sometimes you do really bad. I kind of forgot to switch to taunt, but I'm going to switch to it real quick. Taunt all these enemies in. There's a lot of skitters, but as long as your DPS know to stay away from you and just let you do your thing, you're not going to get grabbed in this one, so pretty safe. It's a mess, but I'm telling you, if you just have someone with a taunt, they can pull everyone into like a nice circle. Should be pretty easy. The stream is not as hard as it looks. Now you can go double heal on Abyssal and it will work fine. But honestly, I think it's better to just do the taunt. So don't taunt right away because enemies are going to spawn in a moment. So right now they should be spawning. And you're going to want to pull them away from your DPS. This time we got 2 skitters, so a bit unlucky. But it's fine, because you're going to want to aggro them to you and not your DPS. And you're going to want to stay right here as much as you can. Because once Abyssal reaches his shield phase, you want you to be the one to picked up. Because if you're going a duo or trio, and one of the DPS gets picked up instead, then there might not be enough damage to kill the fake T that he spawns. And if you don't kill the fake T, then you're not going to get that damage buff from the shield, and you're probably going to lose if you don't have a lot of time. So since I'm the one that's picked up, I know it's safe for them to kill this fake T right here. And once they kill the fake T, it'll do bonus damage to Abyssal. That's really useful. There you go. See how much damage that just did? That did like 400 plus Q. Now this attack, probably majority of you are going to die on unless you get lucky, or you're in the right spot, or you don't have a lot of health like you're a tank. It just is what it is. It's one of those attacks. But from here, it should be smooth sailing. Taunt the enemies in so they're on you and not your DPS. Like I said, this run is not as good as we usually do, but still a completed run, so you can't complain. In fact, Mighty just got the legendary warrior spell from this. And insane. Boom. Got it. Trash, but, you know, got it done. So, GG's.